Hello friends, today we have with us Dr. Zoeb Khan. Zoeb has completed his MBBS with 1 year of clinical rotation, that is internship in medicine, and is now preparing for his postgraduate exam. Let us hear more from Zoeb.
Hi
Hi
Gnanesh,
Zoeb.
how are you?
I'm good Zoeb, thank you. Zoeb, for our students, please tell us about your academic background and your current, what you're doing currently. In
My academic background, I completed my 10th from Gujarat. Then I moved to Mumbai for
Okay,
doing, yeah, and I chose science, obviously. And I completed my 11th and 12th from Mumbai. Yeah, and after that, I moved to Indore for giving my pre-medical exam.
okay,
There are many. They were at my when I was doing preparing for this pre-medical test. They were
hmm,
AIPMT, the All India PMT, and there were other various state PMT exams.
okay,
Yeah, and I qualified in the state PMT, so I got
okay,
a not a very good rank, but I managed to get into a college as the competition was very high and I was not well prepared. So that is
okay,
why I could manage to get into a private college. Yeah.
okay. Okay, so can you tell us about more about this PMT and if a student wants to start, if a student wants to become a doctor, when does his journey start? Like when will he start preparing for his entrance exam, which
Yeah,
is PMT
about
or other
that.
exam, and
Yeah,
how does he
about
go
that.
about it?
The PMT has changed now. There's a NBME board, National Board of Medical Education, and
Okay,
the exam is the which takes place for the undergraduate is NEET, just NEET, National
okay,
Entrance Exam. Yeah.
okay,
So one has to qualify NEET and has to get some good score in order to get a very good medical college. And yeah,
okay,
the private medical college, yeah, one can get into it easily, but you have to pay hefty amounts, to get into
okay,
it. Uh,
right,
yeah, it is better to get into a. There are many other exams also, like AIMS. There is the AFMC has a separate exam, and
right,
yeah. So these are the
okay,
colleges. So one has to start preparing, start like after 10th, immediately I would say one has to start preparing the basics. One has to clear up the basics, build up the basic concepts in the 11th as well as in the 12th standard.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, and they have to take in 11, 12. They have to take biology and science stream.
Yeah, yeah, biology and science.
Okay,
In Mumbai, the Maharashtra board allows you to take biology as well as maths, right? So one can
right,
choose if whatever he wants later in life.
right. Okay, okay. I love in case he doesn't want to get into
Yeah,
medicine,
if in
then he's
case if he
matching up.
changes his mind, he still can get into engineering or whatever he wants to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when a student gives a NEET exam, how difficult is this NEET exam, or how difficult is to get admission to a college for
The
MBBS?
NEET exam is not so difficult, to be honest. It is not very difficult to crack, but one there in India, there are very various category systems, so one has to get through that. If you're a general category student, you have to get a very good score to in order
Right.
to get into a medical college, right? So yeah.
Hmm.
For a general category student, yeah, it is very tough, and one has to study very hard. If you have a category, then it might be comparatively it might be easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much percentage of the seats are now open for general?
Around they're very less actually, not even 40%.
Okay.
Because of this, there's one more reservation. Like there's 10% quota has increased for some poor
Economically
people.
backward
Yeah,
class.
for economically poor. Yeah.
Fine. Now, once a student is enrolled into an MBBS course, what is the structure of this course? What is the duration of the
Yeah.
course? What kind of subjects you learn?
Yeah.
What is the normal routine? It's just lectures, or you all have practicals, or there are projects. How is it?
Yeah, once you get enrolled into a medical college, the life for some months is very difficult.
Okay,
I would say in the first year, you have to cope up with a lot of pressure, as there are a lot of seniors and your teachers are also not very helpful. And
okay,
yeah, actually, they try to, they try to test you. They segregate good students and bad students, and they always have an opinion about them. So yeah, one has to be very cautious once he enters the medical school, right? One has
Okay.
to, yeah. And yeah, they are like they are practicals, like practical laboratories of biochemistry and physiology, and one has to go through them on a daily basis. There is a regular there's a timetable on the daily basis, so one has
Hmm.
to follow that. It includes 2 hours of lectures and 2 hours of lab training. Yeah,
Hmm.
for the basic subjects, of course, the physiology, anatomy, and biochemistry. Yeah, these are the first year subjects.
Okay.
Yeah, so anatomy involves the human dissection and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is quite scary. First, because if you see a dead body for the first time, it always scares you all.
So you get to work with actual bodies in the
Yeah,
labs
yeah.
for these.
In the anatomy department, we actually get to work on the bodies. We have to dissect. It is the students who dissect the bodies, and there are teachers who tell you what is this organ and what is that vein, what is this nerve, and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so the teachers are quite helpful over there.
Okay. During this course of MBBS, apart from your studies, you all have internships also, which are compulsory to complete the course.
Internship, the
What
rural
extent?
internship which was there earlier is not compulsory now, right now. It
Okay.
was made mandatory, but now it is not mandatory. I did not do my rural internship. It was not compulsory for me to do it. I just finished the regular internship, which is of 1 year after I completed my final year exams.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where do you have to do that internship?
they actually make you fill a bond. So you have to work with the same hospital that you graduated from. Otherwise, I had to do that. Otherwise, people in Maharashtra, it is some other case. They can do it from anywhere they want. Their desired medical college or hospital, they can do their internships from there if they have not
Okay.
filled the bond. Yeah.
Okay. So these all medical colleges have hospitals attached to them.
Yeah, mostly they have a hospital attached to them, and if they don't, they are affiliated to a hospital where they train their medical practitioners. The
Okay.
students, MBBS students.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does a student select his school or medical school or college? What should he keep in mind while choosing a institution, and how can he do that process?
Uh, First of all, if you want to choose a good medical college, you have to score a very good mark, a very good score in NEET. First of all, and
Okay.
if you get a good choice, then you should see what is the patient output over there in that medical college. What is the patient? Yeah, what kind of patients are there in that area?
Hmm.
Yeah, some medical colleges are there. I know about Madhya Pradesh right now. There were medical colleges, some private medical colleges, who didn't have any patient output. No patients
Hmm.
used to go over there, so it is obviously useless to go into such a medical college, right, where you don't get to see patients.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so the patient output should be good, the faculty should be good, and the basically the infrastructure and everything, that doesn't matter a lot, but yeah.
What is a good score in NEET, which you are saying?
Good score, that may vary actually every year. Around 700 or 600 is a good score to get in NEET.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm, but around 300 is the cutoff. But that is
Hmm.
the to get a 300 of score, you only get not very good medical college, and you have to pay a hefty amount to get into one. Only if the seats
Hmm.
are empty.
Okay.
So yeah, to get into a good medical college, you have to score around 6 to 700 marks.
Now, once you become, so if you want to become a doctor, you take MBBS course. Are there any other graduation course or options
Uh,
that a person can take for becoming doctor? This is the only way.
for becoming a proper MBBS, for practicing allopathy, there are various types of medical practices in India right now. There people do Ayurvedic medicine. People practice homeopathy, and then there are people who do dentistry and everything, right? So yeah. So if you want to become an allopathic doctor, then you have to
Hmm.
do MBBS. If you want to graduate in homeopathy or Ayurveda, then you should do BAMS or BHMS.
Okay.
These people also practice as a doctor only, but in order to completely gain full access to the practice, like they cannot do they cannot do various perform various procedures on patients,
Hmm.
like they
Hmm.
cannot inject a person, they cannot put an IV line, they cannot, yeah, it is they cannot perform any kind of surgeries or anything. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is there. So in order
Okay.
to do that, you have to do MBBS.
Okay. So this MBBS degree, this is same throughout the country from wherever,
Yeah,
whichever
it is
state.
almost the same throughout the country. Look, it is all upon the books, right? The kind of books we read. So India has all over the world, actually. There are the people follow the same books, almost the same books, and there are various authors actually. Some Indian authors made the book quite to easily readable. The language is quite readable by the Indian students,
Hmm.
and some books are like the standard books which are followed worldwide. They are quite tough to
Hmm.
understand, and they have a great content though, but they are quite tough to understand. But all over, I would like to say it is quite standardized. The medical education, all the subjects are standardized, so it is quite same all over the world.
Okay. So what is the key reason which makes you a good doctor? Is it the efforts you put in studying these books and the
Yeah.
amount of time you spend,
Yeah.
or is it the
Mhm.
work experience or internship experience,
I would
or is
like
it
to say,
lecture?
to become a good doctor, there's a lot of you have to segregate time for clinical practice and for having that bookish knowledge, or you can say the theoretical knowledge. Okay, so you have to, you have to be proactive in that manner. So the patients you see, you have to know the full theory of that patient, of that disease.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so you have to make a profile accordingly, and that's the way I used to study in my medical school, and yeah,
Hmm.
that helped me.
Hmm.
You have to have a good talking skills. You have to, when you talk to a patient, especially in cities like Mumbai. So
Hmm.
these things matter. The clinical knowledge is very important
Hmm.
to in order to practice, have a good practice.
Okay. So do you all get to work with patients when you are there in the MBBS course, or is it only during
No, no.
internship?
We go on clinical rotations regularly.
Okay.
In my timetable, there was 9 to 12 slot, from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. To 12
Okay.
o'clock. Yeah, there was a this particular slot in which we used to go to the patient to see the patients and take history and go to our the consultant doctor that we had in the department. So yeah, I used to go to the hospital, not daily because I have to cope up with my studies also. So whenever I
Hmm.
used to go, I used to take history of the patients, and I used to discuss the case with my seniors.
Hmm.
Yeah, and seniors also do help, and the consulted doctors as well.
What options does a student have after graduation for further studies, or after MBBS? What is the option? Will a student start working and practicing as a doctor, or will he go for further studies?
If you want to pursue a clinical related course, like if you want to become a surgeon, if you want to do internal medicine, or like you said, ophthalmology, in order to do that, you have to crack, once again, there's an exam called NEET PG. So to
Okay.
practice, to get those seats in India, now you have to go through that exam to crack the seat. And whichever seat you get, according to your marks mostly, and your preferences and your choices, you can choose the seat and you can choose the field. And there are various other non-clinical fields as well. If you like to pursue something in pathology, it is
Hmm.
if I would like to pursue my postgraduate studies in anatomy, if I want to go into teaching and physiology as well, and biochemistry also, And if I these three subjects are non-clinical, right? So if I want to go into non-clinical field, into the teaching fields, I can go through these fields. And if I want to do the clinical things, if I want to go into the clinical branches, then I have to go through the NEET PG exam and get the best seats from the best medical colleges. Masters, the postgraduate course is for 3 years. Yeah,
Okay.
we call it residency. Yeah,
Okay.
we have to practice. We have to stay in the hospital the entire time. The duty hours are like uh, 12 hours a day, 12 to 16 hours a day.
Okay. So it is more of practical
Yeah,
experience than
yeah, it
lecture.
is more of a practical experience. You do need to have a theoretical knowledge too. So
Okay.
after you complete your residency, after 3 years, you have to after you have to give an exam then. And you also need to do a bit of a research kind of a thing, and make a research journal, and present it to your consultant doctor, respective consultant doctor of your department. And
Okay.
if they approve you, then you pass the exam.
So now for masters, what departments are available or what specializations are available?
There is a wide horizon of departments and whatever you want to do. It's like I told you, right? The non-clinical fields as well as the clinical
Right.
fields. So there are a lot of fields. If you don't want to do it from India, there are various options abroad. So if you, I
Hmm.
like, I'm also interested in going to the US for my postgraduate studies. So I have to go through an exam called USMLE.
MLE.
MLE, yes, USMLE.
Okay.
So if I
Hmm.
could get a good score, yeah, it is of three. It has three steps actually. Yeah,
Okay.
it has three steps. The step one tests your clinical knowledge. Not the clinical, sorry. The step one tests your basic knowledge of your basic subjects. Then step two test the knowledge of your clinical subjects. And
Hmm.
step two has two parts. And the step two CS part tests your clinical skills, what skills you have. So it is a three-step process, and then you get a residency in the US after they match you in the respected medical colleges. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if a student wants to apply to US,
Mm-hmm.
then one is this MLE exam different from NEET
Yeah.
or is the same
Uh,
help?
it is quite different in the manner of preparation. The course is obviously the same, but in the manner of preparation for the NEET PG, it is why is it difficult? Because first of all, you have to study 19 subjects together, right?
Right.
All the medical subjects, which are 19 subjects, you have to prepare them in a defined time period, and you have to have a great grip on all the subjects, all the minor details you have to remember. So
Hmm.
it is quite difficult. It is not, which is not in the case of USMLE, right? If you want to crack the step one exam, it is obviously quite time consuming, the USMLE, because it
Hmm.
takes almost 2.5 years to 3 years uh, to completely crack the exam.
Oh,
As it has different phases. Once I give my step one, I the usual preparation time is like 6 months or 6 to 8 months. Yeah,
okay.
for the step one. After that, after I clear my step one, get a score of around 240, 250. Then I start preparing for step two CK. Uh,
Right.
that will be like for 6 months to 5 to 6 months. That is quite easy compared to the step one exam. And after that, the step two CS exam, which I have to give it in the US when I go to the US. Yeah.
Okay.
So after clearing all these three exams, I get to match in the residency program over there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it is basically time consuming. If you want to do it from India, if you're that passionate to do it from India, it is actually quite difficult to get a residency in India, because one of the reasons is the category system. Yeah, and if you you don't get the desired branch that you want to get into. Like if you want to become an orthopedician, right?
Right.
So it is very competitive. To it is a very competitive branch to get into.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So you will end up getting, if you can't get the score, you have to end up taking another
Yeah,
branch in which you may not want to
exactly,
specialize.
which I'm not interested into, and I have to compromise, in a way.
Hmm.
Yeah. If I
Hmm.
go abroad, it is not like that. It is all based upon your score. If you get a good score, you easily match
Hmm.
into any branch that you want. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
it is all upon your hard work. That's it.
Okay. So, but then for this 2.5 years till you clear the entrance MLE,
Mm-hmm.
what will a student do over here for this
Uh,
2.5 years?
2.5 year. If you can manage, you can still practice while you study. Yeah, you can join a nearby hospital. A hospital which is near to your house. You can join
Hmm.
as a doctor, junior doctor. Uh,
Okay.
Junior doctor for a, like, you can say, if I join in a hospital nearby my home, I can join there for like 4 hours to 5 hours maximum. That is
Right.
the time. The rest of the time I have to devote it to my studies, right?
Hmm.
So to join a hospital is not a very good idea while studying. But if you want to join, if you can manage both the things together, then you can practice as well while preparing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So basically, either you join hospital or you focus on your entrance for 2.5 years, and then you go to US. So then another 3 years of residency
Yeah,
there.
another 3 years of residency over there. But you get paid quite well over there if you go into the residency. Almost around $6,000 to $7,000 stipend you get while you in the residency.
Okay.
Yeah, and after that, obviously the US doctors get paid much more than the Indian ones and their counterparts. Yeah.
Okay. But then you have to then practice there.
No, no.
Like you will.
It's not like that. The US degree, US after completing the US MD and the residency, the degree is valid in India itself. Also, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I complete my US the residency in whatever field I choose, suppose internal medicine, okay. So I can
Hmm.
come back to India anytime. The degree will be valid from the MCI. MCI is the
Okay.
Medical Council of India, which
Right.
is the board.
Okay.
Licensing board. So I'll have the license to practice in India as well if I complete my degree from US. And the people who do the degree from the US are actually much paid better than the ones who do it from India.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So now, how much finance does a student has to arrange when he's pursuing medical and planning for post graduation? And if you're
Uh,
going to do abroad, is it more expensive?
Yeah, it is comparatively more expensive than the other fields. If you, yeah, let's start from the beginning. Start from
Hmm.
the NEET PG and NEET
Right.
exam, NEET UG exam, right? After giving the new NEET UG, if you get into a good government medical college, then the fees is not that much. It is around 40 to 50,000 per year. Yeah,
Okay.
and suppose if you get into a private medical college nowadays, they charge up to 10 lakh per year. Yeah,
Okay.
the private, if after getting into a private medical college you have to pay a lot more. Yeah, and for the PG, it depends. If you get into a government medical college, then the fees is not that much, and if
Hmm.
you get into a private college, if you're doing it from a private college, then you have to pay around the fees they are asking for. In Maharashtra, it is very expensive actually. It is around. One of my friends did a PG from Maharashtra. She paid 30 lakhs per year.
And if you're doing it abroad, what expense a student is looking at, and how can he arrange finance for this? He has to arrange from his own sources,
Yeah,
or what is the normal?
from his own sources, or if he has some kind of a scholarship, which is there. I have not met many people who have a scholarship though, but it is, if you do it, if you want to do it in the less expense, if you don't want to spend so much on this from on the MBBS as well as on the PG, then you should do it from the government institutions, right? Yeah,
Right.
the government institutions don't ask for that much money, and yeah, the medical faculty as well as the medical training is much better over there, and you get to see a lot
Okay.
of patients as well. So if you can manage to get into government medical college, nothing better than that.
Only difficulty is
Yeah,
competition.
the only difficulty is the competition and the reservation system there in India right now. This time for the general category to get into a medical college, it's very difficult.
So, Zoeb, what specialization are you planning to go for, and how did you make this
Yeah,
choice?
I am planning. I'm actually preparing right now for the US MLE itself. So I plan to specialize in MS orthopedics. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to do it for a very long time. That is my field of interest as well. So I want to do it in MS orthopedics. Even if you go to the US, it is not very easy to get into a surgical field, but you have to do some research research work, as well as you have to do some observerships and clinical rotations over there in the US. So
Hmm.
they actually look at your complete profile. Okay, so
Hmm.
what kind of a student you were in the MBBS? What scores did you have? What? How many clinical rotations have you done in the US? So they actually look
Right.
at your complete profile, and then they select you for the. Even if you get a very good score of around 260, and you have not done your clinical rotations or observerships, you won't be able to get into the matching process. You won't be able to qualify the
Right.
matching process.
Okay. And now, when a student is doing his MBBS, how will he, how should one go about to decide which specialization he wants to go in? Like you've chosen your
Yeah.
specialization. For example, in other fields like commerce, or what students have the option
Mhm.
is that they can do
Yeah.
internships, or you can work and find, or in law, you can work and find out which
Yeah, it
law.
is the same case with us actually. If you are doing while you're doing your MBBS, right, you have to go for clinical rotation in different departments. You know, all you are working basically working in all the departments for 2 months, right? So you get to
Right.
know if you are interested in that field or not. So yeah,
Okay.
basically I figured it out when I used to go to the OTs, and saw my fellow doctors performing the surgeries and everything. So I got interested into it, and I wanted to do it. And like, yeah,
Hmm.
obviously I was not allowed when I was in the MBBS. I was not allowed to touch the patient. I was just allowed to put sutures and everything.
Hmm.
So yeah, that made me interested. Just by looking at it,
Hmm.
I was so keen on doing it. So I wish to pursue that.
Why did you choose to become a doctor? How did you make this choice? And
To be very
why is
honest,
it special about this field?
my parents always dreamt of it, that I will become a doctor in life. So I never wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to become a footballer. I was interested in football. I wanted to become a footballer, but yeah, I figured out that I was good in biology, and yeah, and I got a good score in my 12th boards, and so I got into it easily.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I did not decide it much earlier.
Hmm.
I decided it in when I was in the 11th. Then I started to prepare for the entrance exams, and
Hmm.
I was not very serious then. Also, I just gave the exam, got a decent score to get into a medical
Hmm.
college. So yeah,
Hmm.
it happened. So
Okay, so your final word to students who are looking to pursue medical field, what advice you would
the
like to give
advice
them?
I would like to give, if you are looking to get into a medical profession, first of all, you have to be very disciplined in life. You have to be, start preparing from an early time. If you are in a general category, then I should not say this, but you have to prepare ahead of the student. You start preparing much ahead of the people who are doing preparing for the entrance exams, right? So yeah, so start preparing from the 10th standard itself. Make your goals clear and start preparing for the subjects that are important. Build up your basics, and yeah, go for it. Yeah, you have to be patient, as it is a very time consuming process. It basically, tests your the level of patience that you have. The
Hmm.
exams in even if you get into the medical school, the road is not very easy till then also.
Hmm. Hmm.
As you have to clear many exams for the right from the first year to the second year, first prof, second prof, and then the third prof, which has two parts. So yeah, all the exams are very tough, so you have to be mentally prepared, and if you are dedicated enough, then you should go for it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, great. That was great. That was Zoeb. Zoeb, thank you so
Yeah.
much for your
Thank
advice.
you, Ganesh, for having me here.